Patch 10.1 Embers of Neltharion is coming to World of Warcraft Dragonflight. And today, we're going to talk about this patch, whether or not it is good, whether or not it is bad. There is certainly a lot of good to be said, but there is also some criticisms to be said too. My friends, we're gonna soar on into this new experience, but before we do that, quick shout out to this channel's sponsor, Zygor. It is the perfect World of Warcraft add-on to get before 10.1 drops. If you are somebody that you want the ultimate World of Warcraft guide add-on in terms of leveling, collecting new dragon glyphs, profession guides, achievement guides, mount farming, gold collecting, you name it, Zygor's got it all. You can check it out completely for free using the link down in the description, and if, by chance, you decide to upgrade one day, use the code NIXIUM for 20% off. Let's talk about 10.1. This patch is packed with a lot of exciting new content and features that are sure to keep players busy for weeks. Let's talk about the highlights, shall we? First of all, the new zone, Zaralek Cavern. Look at this zone. It is incredible. It's a giant underground zone similar to Deepholm, but it's even more massive and awe-inspiring. At least I think so. My favorite thing about this zone, though, is not the art. It's not the bosses. It's not the new races or anything, though. Something that I love as an MMO player is immersion. And one thing that is so cool about Zaralek Cavern is that you do not progress into this zone through a loading screen. You do not get on a boat. This zone is not some magic island that suddenly appears off of the coast that everybody just wasn't going to for the past year or so. No, this is a zone that you can seamlessly fly into. It's located underneath the Dragon Isles, and there are various cavern entrances located across the island that allow you to just go straight down into the cavern. I love that. It feels like we've unlocked this zone, like it was always there right from the beginning. Inside of Zaralek Cavern, we're also going to encounter the Niffen. Raise your hand in the comment section if you love moles. Now let me tell you about mole people, aka the Niffen. They are the newest faction that we are going to encounter, and they are just too cute to handle. And like with all the other factions in Dragonflight, these guys, as you gain reputation with them, you will unlock new cosmetics, dragon riding customizations, and a whole lot more. In my opinion, the faction system in Dragonflight has been one of my favorite things about this expansion. The Niffen are just going to add to this. I'm excited. But what about just other new content? Let's talk about that. Yeah, we're getting new world bosses, but we're also getting a new raid, Aberrus, the Shadow Crucible. This is the former laboratory of Deathwing, the Destroyer, you know, that big dragon from Cataclysm. And we're diving in to see what sort of horrors are waiting inside. We're gonna get new tier sets, of course, with this new raid, and the best part is Blizzard is even giving us a brand new system with this raid where killing the final boss on each difficulty for the first time will guarantee a drop of a piece of tier gear. That's really cool. We're gonna see big changes to professions, new recipes, new cosmetics, new materials even being added to the game, and new gear that is going to benefit from 10.1's newest currency system, Flight Stones and Shadow Flame Crests. What the heck are these things? Pretty much as you're doing anything PvE related out in the open world, you will get these Flight Stones and Shadow Flame Crests, and you can use them to upgrade your gear. This means it doesn't matter what kind of player you are, whether you're just a world quest enjoyer, a world boss killer, a raider, whatever. Doing any sort of PvE will lead to you getting progressive gear upgrades. That's really cool. Dragon riding is getting updated in 10.1, giving us new ways to enjoy it. There are new glyphs and talents to allow you to do things like generate vigor while skimming close to the ground. Plus, there's even new dragon riding drakes to unlock. How cool is that? We're gonna see heirloom scaling. Worgen racials are getting changed. There's even more mounts to collect. There's a lot. I think the biggest thing, though, that most people are talking about with this patch is all the cross-faction stuff. I saved the best for last. In 10.1, if you're an Alliance player, you can be in a Horde guild now. If you're an Orc, you can be in an Alliance guild. The World of Warcraft is officially dead. Not in terms of player population and stuff. That whole idea of the Horde and the Alliance fighting each other for territory and control of the world, you know, that sort of bedrock that this game was built on, now that stuff is gone, dude. In regards to 10.1, in my opinion, this is just mine, I think that 10.1 looks very cool as a patch. I'm excited to play it. I am excited to stream it. I will say though that I kind of was expecting something a little bit more from this patch. Yes, there's a lot coming out, but I was hoping deep down that they were gonna do something maybe for the early game, because yeah, the end game of Dragonflight, it's really strong right now. It's good, it's solid, but man, for those new players coming in to maybe try, you know, the game for the first time, the early game of WoW really sucks, which I made a whole video on, which I'll link at the end of this one if you guys want to watch it. Early game is really bad in WoW right now, and Blizzard needs to do something about it. I don't know, I just thought Blizzard might do something a little bit more rather than just more of the same, because that's what 10.1 is. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but really, like, what's the new thing coming out in 10.1? We're getting a new zone. All right, we've had that before. New raid, okay. We're getting a new faction. All right, we've already got those. Some upgrades to dragon flying, so on and so forth. There's a lot of people that are not giving Dragonflight a chance because they're not really that impressed with it so far. And this patch is not really giving us anything new to make you say, oh, that's a really exciting feature. I gotta dive in and I gotta check that out right now. It's not really giving us anything like that. It's just kind of giving us what we had before, but a new version of it in the form of a new zone and everything. And I admit that's a little disappointing, not like overwhelmingly disappointing or anything. So I think that's just a small observation. I don't think it's going to deter any of us from playing 10.1. It's certainly not going to deter me. But I think that if Dragonflight is really going to go down as a solid, awesome expansion, kind of like Mists of Pandaria, Legion, Wrath, and so on, it needs to slowly, throughout its patch cycle, introduce some new features that we haven't seen before that were not present at launch. Yeah, you could say the whole like Shadow Flame Crest system for upgrading gear is a new system, and it is true. I mean, I really think it's a cool idea, but we've seen stuff like that before. I mean, come on. Give us player housing, Blizzard. It's been years. Like, come on. You gotta give it to us eventually. All right, you know, come on now. The one thing that I will say, the biggest praise that I can give to 10.1 is this. It really looks like a patch where Blizzard looked at all the feedback ever since Dragonflight came out and said, okay, let's re-release Dragonflight in a sense, like new content, all the same stuff again with the first patch, but let's make it even more solid. Let's introduce a currency system where any sort of PvE content you do, it allows you to upgrade your gear. Let's get those profession changes in there. Let's do more to the dragon riding system to make it even more fun. Let's mess with the heirlooms a little bit, and so on and so forth. I think that, from my impression of this patch so far, is the best thing about 10.1. It's what we've gotten so far with Dragonflight, but it is more solidified, more refined even. Now, I know there's gonna be several people that are gonna ask in the comments section what I think about the whole cross-faction guild stuff, all the cross-faction malarkey that Blizzard is bringing into WoW. I really don't have a solid opinion on this, because my thought process, and I know some people are, you know, gonna take this the wrong way, and I don't mean this in like a negative sort of way, but I don't really treat the modern game as World of Warcraft anymore. Like, gone are the days of that Warcraft 3-esque feel when it comes to World of Warcraft. When you play classic WoW in terms of its lore, its storytelling, its setting, and so on, it's completely different to the modern game. So I kind of treat the modern game like it's something entirely different, if that makes sense. And I've actually found a lot more enjoyment playing the game like that, rather than expecting it to be like classic WoW and TBC and Wrath, but just a modern day version of all of that. But that's just me as someone who's played the game since 2005, and I've watched this game change so much over the years. Maybe the cross-faction stuff is gonna be incredible. It's gonna blow people's minds. It's gonna bring so many new people to the game. People are gonna love it because people hate the whole World of Warcraft thing, the Horde and the Alliance fighting each other. I don't know. I guess we'll find out what people think. I'm curious to see what I think about it, because you better believe that I'm gonna take my Orc Warrior and I'm gonna get him into a guild with a bunch of hot Night Elf babes. Let me tell you what. So guys, with all that said, I will see you guys in patch 10.1. I will be streaming it on Wednesdays and Saturdays here on YouTube. Stay cool.